Hello and welcome or welcome back to the Three Strands Pod. The sun is out, the weather is finally lovely. I hope you guys are having a great day. If for whatever reason you haven't been outside to socialize, this is your sign to get up, get outside, get some sun, get some ice cream, go for a walk, whatever it is you want to do, make sure you can do it outside. Okay. And why enjoy the sun on your own when you could enjoy it with your friends? So hit up a friend, an old friend, a new friend. Just make sure it's somebody that you like and hang with them. Spend time with the people that you love in the sun. Who doesn't want to catch a tan? Who doesn't? We need this. We spent a year inside. Come on, brother. You need to tan. You need some sun. You need some sun. So now we have the sun. I'm hoping that you guys are making the most of it. Text, call, FaceTime, WhatsApp. I don't know how you guys communicate. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever. Meet up with your friends. New friends, old friends, good friends, bold friends, whatever. Hit up your peoples and say, yo, I think it's time for us to tan. I think it's time for us to relax in the sunshine. Because, you know, the sun could be gone tomorrow. Because, you know, this London, it could really snow on Sunday and then be sunny on Wednesday. It's just, yeah, madness. So enjoy the sun while we have it. Don't lack, because in December you're gonna wish that you were enjoying the sun now. Yeah? Okay. Don't say I didn't warn you. Don't say I didn't warn you. You're welcome. And on that note, I think the time has come to make it do what it do. So without further ado, so without further ado, cue the intro.
Something years of age, and life surely ain't about handouts. So I lays my plan out. Hard work is living catered to an hardcore survival. Consider Job's lesson from conception to arrival. Now that I'm here, my fears shall decrease. Learn about life, making my way to the east. From 4 square yard struggler, the G's on time. Yo, God, hit me with that introducing.
This episode does come with a trigger warning, as I do mention mental health, death, and suicide. Everyone and anyone can be affected by mental health issues in a variety of ways, but there is a lot of stigma and discrimination that prevents the affected people from speaking out about their experiences, especially with men and mental health, because it is such a taboo subject. And a lot of men are suffering or have suffered with mental health struggles in silence. Pressures from society, traditional gender roles, and possibly even culture can make it difficult for men to be open about their experiences without feeling like they're not tough or strong, because speaking about the subject can be seen as a sign of weakness to some people. From the 14th to the 20th of June, it is Men's Health Week, and I want to open up a conversation about men, mental health, and loneliness, because it isn't something that I see is widely spoken about, and I don't think it is something that men should have to face on their own. In 2020, the entire world spent a year indoors, and it affected a lot of people in a number of ways. And now the world is kind of slowly opening back up again. People are having to readjust to this new normal way of life. And this may be difficult after feeling new or uncomfortable emotions that you're not used to. So it may be a little bit tricky navigating life while trying to understand and readjust all at the same time, especially without support. Mental health struggles are not pandemic dependent, so even though we're outside now, you could have been struggling with things from before the 2020 lockdown or even after 2021, because there are so many variables and factors that will affect your day-to-day life and that will in turn affect your mental health. I want to share some statistics on men's mental health. 75% of suicides are committed by men, and suicide is the biggest cause of death for men under 35 in the UK. Men are less likely to access psychological therapies, with only 36% of referrals being men. That reflects the amount of men suffering in silence. 87% of rough sleepers are men, and nearly 3/4 of missing adults are men. These are all just within the UK. I want to talk about some of the reasons why men may not be open about their struggles. This could be because they're not engaging in conversation about their feelings and emotions or showing vulnerability, possibly due to pressures that they need to appear a certain way and not identify with emotions that are not seen as manly, or to do anything that could potentially question them as a man or their masculinity overall. We all know about toxic masculinity and the stigma around mental health and societal pressures, and all of that can be difficult barriers to overcome when wanting to touch on mental health, as men are constantly told and showed what a real man looks like, and it very rarely includes being open about your feelings, especially if they're not ones that are traditionally considered masculine or manly. This problem in particular is one that isn't just affecting men, but young boys also, because boys are often pressured to behave in a certain way so that they're not perceived as feminine or gay or less than masculine in any sort of way. So instead of focusing on who they are and developing themselves as emotional beings, they're focusing on identifying who they're not. They say, I'm not gay, I'm not a little girl, I'm not weak. And this affects their emotional development because you haven't been given the opportunity to express and understand different parts of your emotional being, which can then lead to you being emotionally stoic or isolated. And when you're not used to being in touch with your emotions, it can be a lot harder to identify signs and symptoms of mental health problems. And so turning to drugs or alcohol may seem like an easy distraction, but it doesn't actually help the real issue. I want to talk about some things that black men go through that they don't talk about. Self-care is something that a lot of guys perceive as a feminine activity or feel it questions their masculinity. And this can just include taking care of your skin, like face masks or having a skincare routine, or even just manicuring your nails, or maybe even using sunscreen. Even though this is literally just looking after yourself, there is such a mad stigma around all of this, which doesn't receive the accurate amount of attention to break down and understand why it is such a problem for men to engage in these activities. Another thing black men have said that they go through that they don't really talk about is being labelled as white when you like certain things. And this plays on your identity, which can affect the way that you view yourself or assume other people view you. So instead of encouraging people to explore different types of music and clothing styles or career choices or avenues of life, people are forced to assimilate and conform to what isn't normal for them in order to feel accepted, which can definitely play on their mental health. Another one that is very common is having your sexuality questioned because you don't fit a certain stereotype. Again, this one taps into your identity as an individual, and it makes you feel that you have to be or look a certain way that isn't normal for you in order for you to have a seat at a table that you may not have wanted to sit at. Having to constantly agree to like or to do or to want things that aren't normal for you can cause you a lot of stress and anxiety when you have to do these things, because this isn't normal for you and it's not something that you're comfortable doing, which again affects your mental health. Feeling that you have to represent something that you may not stand by or support because of where you've grown up or who you know. So through association, you become a part of a world that you were never ready or even wanted to be a part of. And seeing and participating or even just hearing about things that happen to people you know or in your area and not being able to speak about it and how it is affecting you can seriously affect your mental health. We've seen that people have suffered physical and psychological trauma, PTSD, depression, anxiety, stress, other mental health problems that are so common among people who have been involved in violent crimes. Among the affected people, there isn't really a culture of talking about the things that you experienced in order to learn from it or to find help. It's either not spoken about or it just fuels further destruction for the community as there is only more violence from the previous violence, which just continues the vicious cycle of mental health problems. Here are some signs and symptoms to look out for in either yourself or maybe somebody that you are concerned about. A change in sleeping or eating patterns. Social withdrawal, so they don't want to hang out anymore. Unusual drop in functioning, so they're not going to school, they're not going to work, they're not turning up to football. They are having problems thinking, so there are issues with their concentration or maybe they're suffering some memory loss. They frequently joke about suicide. They start to give their things away. And they say things like goodbye or see you later, but as if they're going away. So if you see any of these signs in someone that you are concerned about, do not be afraid to break the ice around this conversation, even though it may be very awkward or difficult or tricky for you. Just think about how difficult it may be for them and how much they need you to be a listening ear. So don't feel like you need to make it super fancy. You can literally just reach out to them on social media and then hang out and have the conversation there. You can talk while you're at the gym, or you can just take a football out and kick it around in the park. Just as long as the person that you are concerned about is comfortable and willing to be open. And most of all, that you are ready to listen, because all they need is a listening ear. Or if you are not ready to be a listening ear, there are some links in the description for websites that you can send to the person that you are concerned about so that they can receive some professional help and care. I hope that you guys understand the importance of breaking the ice around the conversation regarding men, mental health, loneliness, and different issues that they may be suffering with in silence. So please look out for these signs and symptoms and be a listening ear to whoever it is that is close to you that you may be concerned about or you think may need help. Thank you guys for listening, and until next time, peace in the Middle East to you and your crew. What? Peace in the Middle East to you and your crew.
I'm 20-something years of age, and life surely ain't about handouts. So I lays my plan out. Hard work is living catered to an art called survival. Consider God's lesson from conception to arrival. Now that I'm here, my fears shall decrease. Learning about life, making my way to the east. From 4 square yard struggler, the G's on time. Yo, God, hit me with that control.